Yeah, yeah. It kind of hits its peak under Diocletian. But even during the first century with the communities that Peter is writing to, we also have to think about the fact that a lot of these people are Jews. They believe in Jesus as the Messiah. And what's going on is they are now being ostracized from their Jewish communities because of their belief in Jesus. They're no longer being allowed in places like the synagogue. They're being kicked out of the temple, which is their, formal place of worship. We're told that the disciples would, even after Jesus' resurrection, go back and meet regularly in the courts of the temple. And so there's persecution against their own ethnicity and faith-based group, but then also from the Greeks, from the Gentiles, because of the difference in religious perspectives of them being monotheistic, of worshiping a crucified God. And that's what we saw, when we were in Rome at Palatine Hill with the Alexamenos graffito, which is this mocking depiction of someone worshiping a crucified man with a donkey's head. So they're getting it kind of from both ends there, but it's not until, like you said, that ramping up where we really get it from like an empire perspective across the Roman Empire.
Even that Alexamenos graffito, where you have this donkey-headed figure, goes back to even Jewish persecution or mocking, right, of this idea of that they worship this donkey god, gets brought into their view of Jesus within Christianity, and even that is right. It's like kind of this low key sort of persecution, right? A mocking that really develops into this full-fledged persecution that takes place. And you even have people like Pliny the Younger that are writing at this time that just feel bad for the Christians. They're, the amount of persecution that they're experiencing is just horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a give and take with Pliny because he's like, I don't really understand these people. I feel sorry for them. But also he writes to Trajan and he's like, I beat them up and they still won't change their mind.
What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, it's a give and take. Am I doing this right? Like, that's basically what he's asking the emperor is like, how do I get these people to just go in line?
When it's interesting, though, because then he's also saying, but, they're actually pretty good people.
Yeah.
They do good things. They're nice to each other. They're strange.
Yeah. And we have some letters expressing like a confusion about the Christians, that they don't just take care of their own, but they take care of, from a Gentile perspective, like from a Roman perspective, they take care of our poor too. Yeah. Like they're embarrassing us because they're not just taking care of their own poor, they're taking care of our poor. And yet in the midst of this, like persecution and misunderstanding, there's a lot of misunderstanding about who the Christians are. They're rescuing these babies that are being left out, like this form of ancient abortion where Romans it was called exposure, where if they had a baby, particularly a girl, and they didn't want it, they would leave it at the city gates or they would take it to the garbage dumps. And the Christians would go rescue these children. And the Romans knew that they were rescuing these babies, and they also had this ceremony, this faith-based practice where they would talk about drinking blood and eating flesh, right, in the Lord's Supper. And so this caused rumors that they were cannibals, that they were eating children. And yet, at the same time, in and amidst all of that, the church is growing.
Right. And that I think is one of the things that's impressed me the most in our journey throughout Italy and Turkey is you really don't get an appreciation for just how fast Christianity spread, how far it spread, and how many Christians there were.